We also should definitely go to the Valley of Death. Mwahaha.
Oh my gosh.
Muhaha, muhaha,
I got the
muhaha.
stream running just for the beginning talks. It's always fun.
Oh, commentary.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we already missed out on some good stuff, but it's fine. Oh boy. Also, I encourage any of you, and you don't have to if you don't want to, if you feel like it's going to be a distraction, because I'm not. But I am not looking at chat at all. So if you guys feel as though you want to open it up and peek at it to see if anybody's blabbing at us or trolling us, that's up to you guys. And I would always appreciate that, because I don't exactly want a bunch of troll messages streaming down our games, but if it happens, it happens. Also, if people are there asking questions, it could be cool. But that is up to you guys.
I'll kill them.
You kill them. I mean, yeah, you're all mods, so you can boot anybody.
Murder them.
Murder.
Not real.
Also, Jacob, you should be, as you are editor in Tomb, in the Tomb thing, you are also an editor on my channel, so if for any reason you see that, like, the thing is wrong and stuff, you should be able to get in there and change, like, the title and stuff.
Nice.
Alright, I have a pop-out chat so I don't see spoilers.
You. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know if anyone will jump in and be like, you guys are, this is about to happen! Have you guys done the end part yet? Where's the end? Too fun. Oh, I just ate a spicy sandwich. So spice.
Go on.
Oh, that was so tasty. I got a Subway. Subway, yum yum.
Oh, don't tell me that. Now I want stuff.
The
No.
ultimate spicy Italian. They just came out with it where they put butter on both buns and then they cover it in Parmesan cheese. And then
Oh, yeah, the
so
guy, it's
good.
fucking like garlic.
it's
Yeah.
garlic, dude. I was just like, I saved like a half of my sandwich over here for later.
I made a ridiculous meat dish for the second day in a row, so today was meatloaf.
Ooh, yum. Filled with cheese?
I love.
Oh no,
Just standard meat.
spicy meatloaf. It's the proper way to do meatloaf.
Proper way of doing meat.
Proper way.
What are these 7 platinum that I have? Is this because I'm usually my
That
stuff
was
is the
the
shared.
platinum that you accidentally gave to Brolin instead of silver.
We're gonna kill this. I swear to God, if I see one of these coins leave, somebody's getting killed today. And it ain't gonna be Brolin unless he steals it.
Just in the crowd, shake.
Which coins?
You won't be able to see them. They're gone. They match the map almost perfectly.
I did flip them all though.
I did. I know. I was trying to delete them, and I saw you fucking do it. I was like, "What are you doing? Trying to make it work." Gotta kill those coins, dude. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! We'll start right at 30.
Oh, I actually
Pages
need a whole bunch of cards.
A whole bunch of cards. What are you missing? What are you talking about?
Oh, I bought salve, but I have a ton of salve. I'm like, what?
Oh,
So instead of having 8, I have 60.
60 salve, huh? Jeez, dude. How many you have right now?
8.
So that would be 52.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go, buddy.
Cool.
A million salve. What'd you buy that with? Oh yeah, you're fucking working at the Thundering Lizard, making the real cash.
I used starting money to buy it.
Oh, for real? How much is salve?
Yeah. Not very much.
That's uses, right?
That's uses.
Good,
Yeah.
good, yeah. Because you get a good amount of uses out of one vial.
Yeah, it's because they're only a gold each
Yeah.
for 20, and it's for 20 doses. So I bought 3 gourds.
There you go. You're good. Yeah, they're not too bad.
The secret is to buy so many that he just unconsciously decides never to ask you about applying them again.
Oh, I will. Just because you said that, I will.
No!
I wasn't going to, but the mention, and now I will always be on you.
Crap, he's adding it to the list of things he has to ask every day.
Oh, it's already on there. I know, you know me. Right now, you're
Listen,
covered.
We're in the city right now. It's all good.
The one
Oh,
thing
we're not, though.
the one
We're
thing
about to leave.
I didn't
No.
grab from you guys, which I'm gonna need, before we even start, is the gold for your lifestyle. Oh wait, I think that's at the end of the 10-day, right? Or is it per day? I think it's per day.
Daily.
It's daily, yeah. So I'm gonna need the gold for the lifestyle
Damn it.
from everybody, and we'll just put it on the landing page. So let me go down the line and get everybody's gold. Who I know is here. Farisha.
Mine's free.
Yours is the free one? Okay. Yeah, most people will be able to get a free lifestyle. Alexandria, you don't have a free lifestyle anymore, but you do have all the money that your people had, so it shouldn't be hard for you to give me a gold. But if you need any exchange,
I will give you half of a gold.
I need a whole gold, or else.
Else, what are you gonna do? Break my kneecaps?
Yeah, I'll get the Chult
I'm
leg
adorable.
breakers. Get the Chult leg breakers. I know. Just let me get you some gold to work with, because you only have platinum right now, but you do have a ton. So let me just get you. Let me get you some gold. Boop. I'm just gonna freaking copy that. Copy. Paste. All right. I'm going to steal. You have 50. God, I have to split even more. Yeah, splitting money is always a blast. Let's choose platinum. All right. Let's give you a 10. 10. Okay. Turn. We gotta cut your money up, brother. And then we gotta give you 9 of these bad boys. 1. These are gonna be hard to see. 2. 3. Actually, I give you 8. 4. 5. Oh no, it is 9. It is 9. It's all in Tariki Anchorage, pretty much. So yeah, we got to break up your money for you to be able to do anything. So it's better now than later. So let me see. I'm gonna take one of these gold. Boop. I'm going to steal your 50. Give me that 50. A little box will show up and ask you to steal, and then you can take all the gold on the map right now, which is the gold in the just below Yolkwazi Hill. Those gold pieces. I believe it's
We are
9.
not on that page.
Off the map.
You're right.
We are on the landing page right
Here
now.
we go. Yep, they're just below Yolkwazi Hill, and then like along Tariki Anchorage. Here's your 40. Yep. Might be easier just to place these in the Bay of Chult. It'll be a lot easier to see them in the, not the Bay of Chult, but in the harbor.
Take the card.
Because it's like, yeah. And you remember you can select multiples. Yep. And then your gold should be pretty visible. It's right there.
Ah.
Snag that gold. Cool. And I already took your 1. So for war,
Oh, hello.
I will also need 2 silver from you, poor boy. Let me know if you need
I am a
anything
poor boy.
exchanged. Toss them in the harbor ward. Best place to put them.
Okay.
And then from Alexandria,
that is
cover. Brolin, I will need. Let's see. Brolin, I need 1 gold from you.
there's that 2 silver.
1 gold. What are
Yeah.
you trying to do?
I'll
Rob
steal.
me?
I'll go to steal it so you can grab it. And then yeah, it'll ask you. It should ask you, Dustin, if I can steal.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. Cool, I'll take it. And then for Valfine, money-wise, we need 2 gold. Dang. So I'm going to steal that and that.
No way.
Because we have had one day. It'll be better when it's the end of the 10 day and it's like I need a ton of money. give me all the money for the 10 day that we've spent.
Stop, no.
Oh, no, my
Wait.
money. All right.
One day? Didn't we have Wakanda last night?
You did. Let's count it for this day. Just so
Okay.
we have this day out of the way. I just want to get that out of the way early. So one day. I'm
Sounds
gonna
good.
huck all of these. All that money is gonzo. All right, guys. I believe we're at 7:32. If everybody's ready, I think we can dip right in back to the world of Chult. Boop. So
Arrange this stuff.
we see the pages of the tome, the Tombeish tome, flip open, the many pages flipping by us, and we see once again that same ink spill onto the page and start to form the many illustrations that will define exactly what happened last episode. There are only 3 scenes that I think are huge pillars of last episode, which I am going to throw down, and if anybody else has something else they thought we should touch on. Last episode was a full episode, but we did very little things, so there were only 3 moments I think that really stood out worth a recap. But if anybody has anything else, step in and say, oh, I think there would be an illustration of this conversation or this thing, you let me know. So our first illustration that we see paint itself on the page would most definitely be the interaction between War and the vampire sisters of these 2 mysterious individuals, of which they gave you their names, and I believe I have them here. They have some pretty fancy names. Let me bust them up. We have Valentina and Anestra. These 2 individuals who essentially came to you in search of assistance in capturing your missing friend Asteria. That she has apparently been revealed by them. You don't know whether or not to trust them. Some of you are kind of wary, as you would know they are vampires. I believe the people in the interaction was War, Alexandria, and these 2 are the only people who got to have this conversation. But apparently Alexandria is wanted in the in the island of Snowdown.
No!
Or not Alexandria. Did I say Asteria is wanted in freaking you guys and your names.
A's and V's.
A's and V's all day.
Garlic.
Gotta get some garlic for real. And apparently Asteria has a past that's been revealed to you, being some sort of demon worshiper, cult leader, and murderer. They are in search for her, along with their companion, who we only got to really see in the shadows, but us as an audience were able to see and know that that individual waiting in the background, watching through the window with of course you can imagine, a drawn bow back with a beat on War, would be Zaraj the Hunter, a half-orc that we got to see an illustration of here. Let's see if I can pop it up again. Nope. I don't have it. It's all good. In any case, we did see that character before. We saw all of these characters before when they confronted Asteria in one of her very last scenes. Her very last scene, in fact, that we had with her. And she narrowly escaped them. But now they have come to the party asking for help, at which point there was sort of a tenuous agreement that the party wasn't really sure whether or not to trust them, but for the most part it seems as though you are wanting to learn more about whether or not these individuals are trustworthy. The conversation came to a close. They had left satisfied that you wouldn't you at least had some sort of agreement that you wouldn't exactly stop them. Whether or not that's a lie on your guys' part or not, who knows? That's up to you. Our next scene that I think would definitely hit the page would be the scene between Frisia and Asteria. We get our last scene with Asteria in port as the 2 bump into each other and have an awkward bit of conversation back and forth, as Frisia knows who she is, but Asteria does not know who Frisia is. And Frisia follows Asteria to the warehouse district and to the harbor ward and watches her leave on a ship with one one Captain Ordame after asking for rumors around the dock to find out where it is, learning that this captain takes adventurers wherever they want upon the Chultan Peninsula. So where Asteria is going is a complete mystery, at which point we see Frisia turn back to the Merchant's Ward to try to meet up with the rest of the party. Our final scene I would think we would have on the page, outside of anything you guys want to add, would be you all stepping out. It'd be kind of a dual scene. You all stepping out of the merchant villa of Wakanga for the last time. Well, at least for this visit, last time, as you're essentially kicked out by the butler. And stepping outside into the streets, the very crowded streets of Golden Throne, as an announcement is made by the Merchant Council. There was a big, huge hubbub about the council meeting this morning for the first time in almost 4 years. And an announcement was made that Jabal had passed away. They announced of natural causes, but the party has some information that they haven't shared with anybody, obviously, other than themselves, but may contradict that. And they make that announcement, and we see Azan approach the party, asking to have that conversation, that back and forth with Brolin about what's going on. We get a shot of to try to essentially conclude Jabal's previous business. We see the party in the probably a luxurious chamber in one of Jabal's the previous prince, his manor. We see Azan, that conversation go back and forth, a bit of information tossed here and there, things sort of cleaned up. I believe we came to the conclusion that Brolin wouldn't quite be working for them yet. None of you had committed to work. When it comes to the map, I can't remember where we landed with whether or not you were willing to sell the map. I think it was a not yet situation. Something to be held for later, I think, is where we came to. The last bit of conversation being another hint towards the mystery that you have all been resolving over the last couple episodes of Asteria's quote-unquote betrayal. Another hint of possibly Crowley's hand. The fact that they found sulfur in the pool where Jabal died. Another clue being sort of tilted more in the direction of you guys possibly believing that. That could easily be the case, that devils may be at work here. You had more information shared back and forth with him. You told him about Crowley. He said just simply to keep in contact with him. If you learn anything else, he doesn't want to jump to conclusions. And after that conversation was had, you left the very sad Azan grieving for his lost lover. You stepped out back into the streets of Port Nyanzaru, and who could be... Also worth noting in that conversation, I think Frisia was given a little bit of leeway, as she had not leeway, a little bit of some positive influence from Azan, who had given you a little bit of information to say that she is indeed a Harper spy, one that he believes is trustworthy. So giving you guys a little bit of a nudge in the Frisia direction. And who could it be as you step onto the streets of Port Nyanzaru but Frisia herself, sort of on the other side of the street, I imagine, looking pretty obvious. And that's the last scene that we pick up. Is there any other markers that you guys want to hit that I missed? You can call me out and yell at me and say, Ed, you forgot? Come on, Kyle, I know you want to do it to me.
We forgot that we decided we're leaving the area immediately.
No, I forgot to tell you that you guys are getting out of there. So that is where our scene is going to open up. We see our book slam closed, the dust leave it, and our camera zoom into the darkness of the maw of the tomb. And we will pick up our episode opening right out in front of Jabal's, or Azan rather, Azan's manor, or villa. Go ahead, friends. There's plenty of traffic going by as this people are leaving Golden Throne to go spread the news about what happened. So this bridge is pretty packed. There's plenty of traffic moving by, but you can easily see Frisia on the other side of it. You can easily see the Temple of Savros getting more and more decorated in a Zentarum garb every day that passes, which has been one day, by the way.
So just a lot of
Oh,
banners and okay.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
there's an extra banner up because it's only been one day.
It's only been one day, but you notice that one extra banner roll out. It's like a shared symbol between Savros and his knowledge, and then the like power and resources of the Zentarum, and the two graciously working together.
graciously.
Nice point.
Didn't we have like an interaction with Frisia right at the end?
Not quite. I think that's.
Oh
what-
yeah,
No.
I think there was a moment where it was like where I acknowledged I was following you.
Something like that.
It's
I don't
that
remember
free
exactly.
lady.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a vague memory to Brolin, probably.
Yeah, I'm a.
Blurry. Like if you squint your eyes, it looks like.
Oh crap! I just forgot. I gotta fight that stupid tabaxi.
Did you really forget? I don't think you really forgot.
2 days.
I wanna forget. 2 days. Oh.
Well, you know where you can forget? Out in the jungle.
I
No.
agree.
No. Having a hard time finding a compelling reason.
No. I mean, we gotta get more supplies.
Which we can do today.
Listen, I don't know about you, but I'd be a laughing stock if I denied that challenge. I don't
You're
know.
Already a laughing stock.
No, I'm not.
Also, you're doing your job. You're taking adventurers out into the jungle.
While you guys are speaking, a flock of exotic birds flies overhead, quite a distance, but they're definitely noticeable in their vibrant colors. And at the same time, another surge of traffic makes its way over and kind of covers the middle of the street in full, forcing anyone standing in this area to kind of be pushed to the side a bit. There's still space, obviously, for you to walk, but the streets are quite packed. Let me actually get some. Let me get some crowd going here, because it would definitely be crowd large.
It was. We saw the Harper pin.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. It was bugging me real bad. Okay.
Oh yeah, hers is on her instrument.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can spot you from like 4 miles away, so we're doing a very good job at sneaking, right? So
Well, no one else saw me.
okay. So how close are we to the Temple of Savros? Like,
That's right
what does it
there.
say?
The Temple of Savros, right here.
Oh man, that's weird if you don't snap to center.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's still weird if you don't snap to center. Where's the... Wow, I'm getting like every floating point from here to...
Oh, are you?
We're exactly 187.3 feet from the temple. What was that?
Nothing.
What was
That was a
that?
person disappearing into the temple.
I saw that. While everyone's kind of like the rush of traffic comes in, and everyone's bickering back and forth, I'm assuming, Valfien's gonna push around and start making her way toward the temple.
Okay, yeah, you totally can. You see that there's sort of a line outside of the temple proper, and if you remember before in the shape of this temple, it's quite tower-like, almost in the very similarity of like a wizard's tower. Savros is a god of knowing the past or mostly the future. He's a god of fortune-telling more than anything. A lot of people come here to understand, will my child be this or this, or is this a good business deal? And they'll get plenty of, blessings or whatever they can from the Temple of Savros. Savros. This is a merchant port, and you'll notice that many of the gods have something to do with mercantile needs, and knowing the future is a big thing when it comes to gambling, selling things, and dealing with any of that. So the temple is very gorgeous in the way it's built. It's gotten a lot of traffic, so I believe it's very tall. You get a lot of iconology of of eyes, like the all-seeing eye everywhere. Probably a lot of big broad glass windows, some that are open to allow wind to pour through. You can also see, like many of the other buildings in Chult, there are a series of tubes that would hold water. I forget what they're exactly called. Essentially, the you guys carrying one, but what?
The internet.
No.
I said aqueducts?
Aqueducts. So we can see like aqueducts sort of set in very, and I think these ones would probably be made out of stone, set into the building to be able to collect as much water to the temple as possible. You can see that it has multiple floors.
Cisterns, actually.
Cisterns, thank you. It has multiple floors that go quite far up. It's probably the tallest building, but probably doesn't tallest building on the Temple Hill, but it doesn't quite match Mount Sabasa and the Hall of Gold, which peaks up just a little bit taller and is always visible from any point in the city like the shining sun. So, yeah, you get up to the temple. You see that there is a line coming from it, sort of wrapped around. Not normal for the Temple of Savros, at least not the time you were here before. People were able to openly walk in and out, but it seems a lot more regulated, a lot more tight knit. You can also notice that there are definitely the thuggish types around, but they have on them these sort of sashes of Savros, so you see essentially Zentarum thugs given this sort of authority figure as they kind of keep the line intact, walk up and down to make sure everybody's paying up front. Probably going down to...
Would I recognize that there's Zentarum by looking at them?
So something that isn't a secret in the port is that many of the guards, many of the security and law force in outside of the actual like city guard proper, most of the people who watch the walls are paid mercenaries, and most of the time those are Zentarum. You can easily see, and they don't hide the fact that they're Zentarum. You can easily see neck tattoos, you can see arm tattoos. It's hot, so they're not wearing like the black leather kind of situation. They're not like fully armored. They're in Chultan leather armor, which is quite revealing in a lot of ways to allow them to not overheat. But in the typical Zentarum fashion, what they do have plenty of black to show their colors. But it comes with that purple of Savros.
Is there someone that looks? Is there someone that looks official that isn't?
No one out here. You see three Zentarum thugs in the Savros sort of bands going up and down probably I would say there's about 50 people in line going up and down the line and collecting gold from people. Or coins, mostly silver pieces, to ask what they want for the day, and then giving them like probably in return like a scrap of parchment.
Okay. Is the temple on like a raised? Are we up on a hill or something?
It is raised up a bit. I would say that this is the Temple Hill, and probably the peak of Temple Hill is the Temple of Savros. So you know that the entrance itself does have stairs that at one point, I mean, they still do face out towards the street, but those are kind of blocked off for the most part by either thugs, or they probably have some sort of red velvet tape kind of situation going on there. I don't know exactly the material. Just sort of blocking off that area and keeping people in a nice line that wraps around the circular building.
Looking around then, do we have anything that resembles a library?
In the temple? Like from out here?
Anywhere in the area can I see or search for?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, like, what does that entail? Just by your site, where you are right now?
I don't know, maybe I can walk down the street, find something.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you wanna search the merchant ward itself, the thing about the merchant's ward though, and you've been up and down this street before, is it is sort of a residential district. It's filled with villas of the rich and the powerful, including the princes, obviously, but there are other nobles or higher-up merchants in the city who have homes here. Most of this area is homes, and they are surrounding the Temple of Savros itself. I believe you already spoke to somebody about whether or not the Temple of Savros holds a library. It does. I believe you were told, like, that's where you would probably find books.
Zentarum.
What are the rest of you doing?
It's not worth it. Tarum or jerks.
I know.
I've been arguing with Brolin about how we need to just go.
War would probably look to Frisia and say, "Why have you been following us?"
Well, to be honest, I'm looking for somebody that you have already met.
And you expect us to see this person again?
Well, it's likely. There's accounts of you running into him a couple of times that I found. So
We're like side eyes, Brolin. Yeah.
I am arguing that we have to Alexandria that we have some pressing issues we need cured, quote unquote, in the city, and that she should stop chasing after cats.
This has nothing to do with any of those things.
It has everything to do with at least one of those things.
It has nothing to do with those things. Did you forget what Iku wanted?
No! But look at me! Listen, we're not gonna discuss this in public, but I need to go see a priest.
are you getting married?
No, wait, you look familiar. Do I know you?
Yes, I'm your best friend.
No, you're not. Alexandria is my best friend. And Slimy Brolin Jr., but that's for another time.
Where is Slimy Brolin Jr.?
He is on my back.
You get a lot of looks as people pass by of, like, what is that creature? And it's like, I hope it's on a leash, and you can all hear it in Chulton.
Ignore them. Ignore them, Brolin Jr.
He's got
It's...
he's got little spurts of blood like coming out of this.
No, he's got a backpack. He's got like a reverse baby pack.
No, I mean you're back.
You're Slimy Brolin. I have it protected. I'm not taking damage.
You're
I
not,
also
huh?
have the ficus.
I'll allow it.
Ed, I'll allow it.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
So we just have to. I think it'd be in everyone's interest to not be in a place where that is happening, gesturing towards the temple.
Well, I need to go there.
Not technically. You would know well as anyone who is familiar with the city, or I would say any of you traveled enough in your first time here to know there are several temples that hold priests in the city of Port Nyanzaru. You know, there's the Temple of Soon. The Temple of Savros is obviously one you're right in front of. The Hall of Gold is a temple of some kind or another that worships Joaquin, and the final temple being the Temple of Timora, currently under the control of Flaming Fist.
There's also a temple of Gam.
There is the Temple of Gond. That is another temple, one that you guys have not even stepped into.
Well, listen. In order for me to cure my affliction, I need gold. And how am I gonna get gold? Well, I gotta beat that cat. Okay, I gotta kick his ass.
Oh yeah, the only way you're gonna get gold is by losing in the arena
What's your problem?
with your grudge match.
It's not a grudge, man. I don't hate the guy.
Go fight in another arena match then.
Well,
You could
he did
probably
say
fight in one
he
today.
would fight the undead before he could fight you.
It's true. It's true. So hey, I could beat the undead, and I could get the money to fix my affliction.
Well, it appears that you're just fortifying the fact that you are a terrible guide.
Can't even take us out into the jungle.
Here, your
I can't-
employees are wanting to leave, and you're telling us we can't.
You're not paying me anything.
Well, I guess that just means you're a terrible guide with poor business sense.
We also have some research to do. Yeah. Our list of to-dos, player-wise, I had like 5. We probably want to start on those.
I'm just gonna flat out say it, Alexandria. I don't think you should go back in the jungle.
I was gonna say, Alexandria, I don't think you should go back in the jungle. I'm Brolin.
That sounded nothing like me. For starters.
I know. That's why it was a lot more gentle on the ears.
And second of all, you're
Have you
pushing
gotten yourself killed in that grudge match yet?
you're pushing yourself into a dangerous situation. I don't think you should go out there again.
We're all pushing ourselves into dangerous situations because things need to have resolution. And we're not going to get that putzing around this capital that is obviously collapsing in upon itself. And I would really rather not be here for when all the shit hits its cornucopia of fans.
All right, but you gotta hold the ficus.
No.
I gotta. Brolin Jr. here. I'm gonna tuck it next to you. There you go.
Make a dexterity check.
Oh no.
We're gonna get away with it
whispered
forever.
to War, asking if he's still drunk.
For all I know, sure.
You get it in there, buddy.
There. I'm used to him. He's a little spiky, more
Oh,
than slimy.
by the way, it's raining. It begins to rain.
Of course it's raining.
Of course.
Oh, I
We've
hate
been
rain.
sitting here for 30 minutes arguing because Alexandria has a thing for cats.
Says
them-
the dwarf who's hell-bent above all reason to rush into a cage match against a cat.
That's a good point there.
He challenged me. I
Oh
can't
boy!
go back on.
I challenge you to guide us out into that jungle.
Pay me.
I will when you do it.
He did challenge you. You did challenge a drunk man. That's not very honorable.
Yeah, you
Wait.
weren't even in your correct senses.
It's true.
After your brother had died.
That's fair. That is fair. But still, I need to get cured first, and War needs to do his research. So at least give us a day, jeez.
I'm fine for us taking time to do these things, but not these pointless errands that are just there to inflate egos.
My ego doesn't need inflating, okay?
You're all
I'm not
beginning to get wet.
necessarily talking about yours, Brolin.
It's getting
Wait,
a little wet.
All right, listen, all right. Stop
I don't know what
trying
you're-
to
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fine.
I'm fine too.
The plants dancing.
We can
right?
see like people like trying to get to cover best they can as the rain comes down. I mean, it comes down at a pretty decent. I'll put two rains down here. It comes down at a pretty decent rate, like it would in most jungle rain. It begins to pour quite. Not anything crazy, but it definitely pours pretty decent.
Does the temple clear?
It does not. People have paid their gold. They are sitting there waiting.
Where's Valfine?
She wouldn't be too far out of the way, especially after crowds start to clear.
You'd still be
100
able to
feet,
see me. I'm
100
not
feet,
hiding
not
or
even.
anything.
We need to not split up.
Yeah, we don't need to split up. Where is she?
You can see her. 100 feet ahead of you, towards the temple.
I would shout to her, but
Got enough
I feel like
attention.
I feel like she'd get angry at that. Brolin saunters up to Valve.
Yeah, you make your way up. Your feet hitting the cobblestone puddles would definitely splash beneath your feet. Whatever kind of footwear you have, it wouldn't take long for it to start to soak through, and you start to feel a little bit of that dampness, a little bit of that cold. It does cool down a little bit. It comes from that normal like 90 it sits at, and it punches down to about 80, maybe even dipping into the 78, 79 area. Starts to cool off, which is pretty nice. You can see some people who have ducked under whatever they can, whether it be a manor's like porch hanging over the side. They're quite grand enough in this area where they would hang over right into a public street, and some people are hiding there. A lot of people are probably hiding near the Temple of Savros itself as they dip in closer. It has a lot of overhanging roofs, kind of going all the way around it, and you see as they do this, those Zentarum guards immediately start asking for like a silver piece to be this close to the temple, and people roll their eyes and give it to them. Yeah, people are kind of like diving out of the way, but there's still definitely traffic, people running by at a fairly constant stream, but it's not quite as packed as it was before. So yeah, we see Brolin sort of step through the puddles towards Valfine. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I break all pretense of sneaking to follow the party.
Oh, jeez.
Where are we heading? Sell stuff?
I already sold stuff. I have some gold.
I need to sell stuff.
Valfine. Tap her on the shoulder. What are you doing?
What do you want?
What are you doing out? You're in the rain. We're all in the rain. I want to get out of the rain.
Okay.
Oh, are you sneaking? You're doing a bad job of it. You're in the middle of the...
If I was sneaking, you wouldn't be able to see me.
I'd probably see you.
I don't think so. I really don't.
All right, fair enough. But what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm gonna turn around, and is Frisha nearby?
Yeah, you see the party sitting in the road. I mean, they've kind of made their way either to one side or the other as traffic's still moving by. A person probably passes you every 10 or so seconds, or a group of people.
Valfine's gonna put her hood up because it's raining in
Yeah.
the first place. And tap Frisha on the shoulder.
Hi.
Hi. You spend your time around here, right?
Well, not often around there.
The port in general.
Yeah, I've been all over.
Need to know where the libraries are. Are there any libraries nearby that I can get into from anywhere?
Do I know of any libraries?
Let's see. Do you?
Do I?
What type of check am I making?
I don't know if you are. How long have you been here?
Like 2 months-ish,
All right,
probably?
yeah. Roll a... You know what? Not a history check. I want a charisma-based check to represent how you have how you have squeezed the information out of people in your time here to learn more about the port. Give me persuasion, deception, maybe intimidation, something charisma-based to represent whether or not you've acquired this knowledge through your...
Apparently, I turned on my dice. I need to turn those off.
All right, a 29 is pretty flippin' phenomenal. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you know where information can be found in the city pretty quickly. It tends to be easily enough temples. all the temples hold libraries of their own. Each temple kind of holds a library that's going to have probably more literature based on what their respective god is. You can expect a lot of books of economy or history in the Hall of Gold. You can expect more books on cosmetics, keeping yourself well, how to build a good home, other things like in that sort of realm from the Temple of Soon. The Temple of Savros is going to be a lot of books about definitely the future, fitting with that god, divination, understanding sort of the future of different things, probably also a recording of the past. You would probably get some history books in there as well. Maybe even more so than that from the Hall of Gold. The Temple of Time Mora is probably going to be your place to find more fictions. It would be a lot of different stories of adventures and tales, things to inspire those to gain, luck possibly in the future. And then you have the Temple of Gond, where you're going to get a lot of mechanical books on how to build things, how to create things, invention theory, and more stuff along those lines. You know that those are going to probably be your best bet. Outside of that, there are bookstores throughout, but takes some searching to just sort of find them. Mostly in the market ward is where you're going to find random bookstores, and what you're going to find there is kind of a toss-up. But if you're looking for actual legitimate libraries that exist within the port, every temple holds at least one.
So what are you looking for?
I'm gonna need anything about artifacts, anything. Ancient artifacts, artifacts of power. Any ideas?
Well, maybe the Temple of God. They like things.
They do. They do like commerce. They like definitely trading and items and stuff. They do hold on to the history of a lot of that as well. Yeah.
Can you take me there?
Oh yeah, it's on the way back to the inn.
Huh?
It's this way. Come on.
Did you say you said the Temple of Gon, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the Temple of Joaquin. Yeah, Temple of Gon definitely likes things.
Okay.
So Freesia starts leading Valfine off. 3 members of the party. You see another 2 starting to move away from you, unless you guys turn and say something. This group is splitting. What do you do?
I have nowhere else to go, so I'll start following.
Likewise.
Yeah, I walk too.
This
I
also
w-
solves the Brolin problem, because I'm taking you to a temple.
It's all. Yeah, I also gotta pay for it, which money I don't have.
Why don't you sell your ficus?
How about you go sell your ears?
They're attached.
That makes no sense.
It's attached too. This ficus is my friend.
You need more friends.
Let's just keep walking.
So, I think we get our next scene then of the party entering into to the Grand Temple of Gond. So I think the scene that we get is you guys have made it past the foyer into the temple proper. You see it's quite an open place for anyone to be able to walk in. Their doors are not closed. It is a boxy stone temple of Gond, and it kind of looms over the royal docks. It's quite large. It has probably about 4 tiers to it. It's a bigger building, and when you step up to it, all you can hear is the banging of hammers, the sound of building happening within. And when you step into the temple proper, you are immediately met with that smell of sawdust, of metal grinding on metal, of things working and people working. You can see individuals even in the cooled down port of Port Nyanzaru, with the rain coming in. There are people who are still shirtless, working away, sweating. It's hot. You see that people are those who quote unquote worship here are doing their god the good service of continually building. We see you guys step into the main courtyard of the temple itself. It is an open public place. There was no one really to greet you, to enter you. We could talk about who you're asking for when you step in, but I want to give you this sort of point to work with in the Temple of Gon, because there is a focus, a beautiful focus. You can see that the greatest feature that holds itself in this temple is at the very center of the courtyard, an immense fountain whose water jets shift and continually change to create amazing, mystifying shapes. It almost looks like magic, but you can see it's all done with nozzles and valves moving on cams, driven by the city's plentiful water pressure that is coming in now in full force, with rain pouring down and making its way into the temple. You can also see that from the temple are multiple tracks that lead from the Temple Hill Merchants Ward above. This is where all that gutter water goes. It pours down into the Temple of Gon from these many stone tubes that lead from the walls of the Merchant Ward and fill this area. And there's definitely a feeling of community here, a feeling of togetherness and working together for a common goal. And you can see that there are mostly worshippers, but you can definitely identify priests easily enough by the massive gear symbol they have painted on their backs, or I would say more stitched onto the clothing on their backs, the gear symbol that represents the god of the engine, Gond. And you can see that they are sparse around. It is a community area. You can see that there are also sort of like open workshops for people to be able to step in and use the tools freely if they wish to build or work on anything. Most of what's here is seen as worship, so you're never charged, but donations are easily taken. You can see there are many different, I imagine, gear-shaped bowls around the area where donations are left that go down a tube, and they probably have a function like those things at the mall where the coin will spin all the way down into it. This place is filled to the max with life, guys. You're in like a big old mall, basically. Imagine it, but there's no shopping. It's just building. What would you guys like to do? You're here.
Are you sure
There's
they
no
have books
shopping.
here? Looks pretty
Yeah, you
busy
just-
for books.
You just have to know where to look.
Friesha,
There is
you
no
don't
shopping.
know where to look. You just know
I don't know where to
look. You just know that it's here.
Can I spot books?
No,
In my
not here. A
periphery.
lot of working going on. A lot of workshops. That sawdust feeling. There is a dust in the air itself just from working in industry sort of happening here.
Can I call out to somebody that looks official? Or
Yeah,
someone that works the temple?
Yeah, you can definitely call out to a priest who will turn. You see a man that is mostly bald. He's holding on to the hair that's around the sides of his crown, and he turns around. He's in the fairly colorful Chultan garb of a priest of Gon, but you could definitely see that symbolism, that very beautiful symbolism, because it's all in gold anywhere it shows the gears. His robes are quite they're very pretty, but you can tell they are stained in many places. They are worked on. Like he is an active person, and just the way the robe's fabric is, it could definitely, it's not frail or anything. It's not dainty. It could hold up against a working man. And he'll turn to you immediately. He's probably in his like 40s or 50s. Oh yes, can I help you? First, I think he probably speaks in Chultan, and you don't I don't know if you do understand him. You don't understand Chultan, do you?
Mm-mm.
And then he would immediately identify and switch over to broken, more broken common. Can I help you?
Hi, yes. Can you point me to your library? Do you guys have books?
Oh, we have books, yes. You are looking for something to build.
Not necessarily. I'm looking for books about things that have been built a long time ago.
Ah, yes. Follow me. And he'll immediately issue to follow him towards the back of the temple. What are the rest of you doing?
War's probably looking around.
Oh, people are looking at you, War, and Brolin. You guys get some looks.
What? What's wrong with me? Never seen a dwarf before.
You got a plant monster and a plant on your back.
War's probably looking around and looking like they're crafting things currently, right? Like, are there? He'd be interested in like weapons and armor and stuff if they're crafting it around.
Yeah, you could definitely see some people working on armor, but it's very. I would say that most of the time it's a lot of experimental. You could probably find an area where there's like a lot of like broken up and dented pieces of armor that are kind of being worked on, or their metal is being salvaged and used for something else. But like actual armor and weapons being built, you could probably, after some searching, try to find like, because there's multiple tiers of workshops who here might be working on weapons. In general, I think that's totally cool. So does War go off?
He's just wandering through, keeping an eye on the party, not to get far. He's just kind of window shopping, I guess.
Yeah. What's Alexandria and Frisha doing? And then I'm going to pick on Brolin.
Well, following Velphine, there are prompts of books. That's interesting.
Okay, yeah. Right behind Valfine. That makes sense. Frisha, you are standing there with Brolin.
What's that supposed to
She
mean?
is picking up conversations with random people she knows here.
Yeah, people have frequented
like
the
yeah.
lizard. Yeah, for sure. You probably get a couple of working men and women who would notice you and probably request a tune be played if you're willing. They have coin.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, you get a couple silver pieces, definitely from if you play a tune while they work, and I think that would definitely be appreciated. Let me just throw you some coin into the bay, a couple of silver, ting, ting. There you go. As in the harbor. Brolin, you have something happen. An individual steps up to you. You immediately feel somebody poking at your back, and you can hear something's shifting on your back. Someone's touching your back, but not quite your back. They seem to be touching Brolin Jr., and you hear Brolin Jr. let out a purr.
Who's there? Who's there?
Is he real?
Yes, he's my son. I mean, not really. I mean, now he's a pet more than anything.
Do you turn around to see who's talking to you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you see a red dragonborn woman. She is wearing what looks to be definitely not exactly the wear or garb of a official Gone priest, but an avid worshipper. You can see she has Chultan clothes of white and gold, Gone's colors, and I think something noticeable about her wear is she has these two bands on her arms made of what look to be probably iron painted gold with the Gone symbol on either wrist, and she's just touching him. She says, "He's completely organic." And she speaks good common.
Oh well, yeah, he's a fungus.
A fungus. She says, "Did you get him from here, from Chult?"
Yep.
May I hold him?
Oh no, he'd hurt you.
Oh, I don't think so. He seems like he's pretty friendly, and she's scratching his back.
I know. I mean, he's covered in spikes. I mean, you could.
She looks down. I'm covered in scales. I think I'll be okay.
I mean, you could give it a shot.
Yeah, she picks him up off of your back, and he does like a little like he can't move, like he doesn't have anything to anchor, and she immediately holds him like a baby, and she says, "He's adorable. I love him. We don't have anything like this in Waterdeep. This place is so amazing. I've only been here for a few months. I'm a student." And she turns to she like looks for like an arm. She says, "Nala," and puts her hand out.
He gladly shakes. He gladly shakes. Brolin Fireforge.
Yeah, and she
Fucking
says,
foreigners.
she says, "Brolin Fireforge. Well, it's very nice to meet you. You're a albino dwarf. I have actually met a few of your race already. You are native to Chult, right?"
Yep. Born and raised.
Do you often keep these fungus creatures as pets? What did you say his name was?
His name is Brolin Jr.
Brolin Jr.
And no, it was the gift.
She laughs a little bit, and she's just like, kind of funny that you named him after yourself. But no, I like it. I like it. A gift. She says, oh, is it too rude for me to ask from who?
No, it was another fungus person. He gave it to me.
There are fungus people? Okay, wait, you have to talk to me. And she's going to pull you to the side and what's up?
It's like I gotta go. I gotta go speak to a priest.
She says, you do? Well, I mean, my teacher is just up the stairs. He's a priest of Gond, if you need to speak with one.
Sure. That would work.
And she'll say, okay, follow me. And she's still holding Brolin Jr. She doesn't seem to want to let him go.
Does anyone have a leash on the dwarf?
Brolin is whisked away.
He's whisked away.
Oh no! I hope he never comes back.
We need.
It's midday in Fort Nines. Where's your dwarf?
We need to make a gif of a very upset war that says we need to stay as a group.
Everybody goes a different way in the Temple of Gone, past the beautiful waterfall.
It's like we're all a bunch of dogs and we're all on a leash.
I am very subtly making sure that I'm at the entrance to the Temple of Gone, so no one can leave without me noticing.
That's great. Yeah, playing the music, beautiful. Creepy. So creepy. Let me get some
creepy
some
stalker
music.
doing their job.
Yep.
Where is? I'm just looking for a special set of music here. No, none of this, none of this. Did I not ever grab this? Well, apparently I never grabbed
Did
this.
I lead the party to a place you weren't prepared for?
Yeah, no, you totally did. You did. Yeah, let's
Number 2.
let's go here. Let me just hear what this sounds like. Might be too low. Okay, you guys have to turn this one way up. I'll let you know I'm changing the music to turn it down. There's the sound of dripping. It's quite low. So we see a scene of Alexandria and Balfine. They are no longer up above in the temple proper. They are going down some very slick stone steps led by the candlelight of a beautiful iron torch that seems to be a sort of invention in itself. It's a torch that seems to have more than just one light lit upon it. It's quite large on the top, almost square-like. And this individual is holding it, and I think it has like a gauntlet or something, some sort of like thing that he's like put his hand into to like hold on to it, and have it hold itself up, and it inside of it looks to be 4 different flames, and it begins to sort of like rotate. It has some sort of odd function, but you think it's more form over function than anything to have this beautiful like fancy looking torchlight that is just sort of rotating. It's very Gond for something to just be gorgeous rather than to function very well. And you're being led down by this light. And I think another thing to note that's quite interesting is he's not holding it by himself. It's actually a device that hangs on like a string or a rope of some sort in the ceiling, or some sort of mechanism or track that he's holding it down. And we can sort of hear it tick, 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 tick as you make your way down these spiral stairs to a lower chamber. And when it ends at last, it comes to a stop. And this old priest say, "Give me a moment," and he just he turns off one of the lights and off another light, and then he just goes all the way around until they're all off, and he opens a little door on the side, and you can see that there is something glimmering all of that light from the bottom, and he pulls out what looks to be some sort of like glass orb filled with light, and he just sort of pours it into a mechanism in the wall. You hear a rolling and then you start to see within this dark chamber that you haven't been able to see anything, that you've reached the bottom of, these lamps begin to light up what looks to be a fairly long chamber. You can see the back of it. It's probably about 100 feet back, and these rows and rows of bookshelves appear to you. Now, it hasn't been a stairway directly down to this room, but this does seem to be bottom level stair situation. There were other, like, doors and passages you could have gone, but you guys just went straight down. And as the chamber lights up, you can see these huge stone shelves, and upon them are these huge stone books, each with a chain attached to the end that's bolted into, or attached to the back of the books and bolted into the shelves proper. And he'll say, "This is the library. If you need anything here, you can search wherever you wish. We have all kinds of histories over here." And he'll say, "This is a lot of the previous inventions of the temple. And if you go further back, you will find more on, I believe, items of great value and things of the temple has recorded that have come through here before." If you are, he's kind of like nudging you two towards. He's like, "I imagine that you are looking for inventions," and he's kind of like pointed over towards that section.
She's kind of has to snap out of. She's just absorbing everything in this room. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and point us to where you think is best. Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of shepherds you over to an aisle and starts naming off books of different inventions as you've come towards it, and he just says, "What exactly are you looking for?"
I think if we were going to be looking for something, I think old, ancient weapons of some kind.
He scratches his... "The old librarian died. I was learning under him before he did, but I believe if you are looking for weapons, inventions are where you might want to start. You want to look under, he pours over the Chult symbol for, you speak common, W." And he kind of like points over in this area, and then he says, "If you are unlucky, Timora is not with you. Further in the back, artifacts, items of a great invention, great." And he struggles with the word worship to God.
Did the librarian keep a ledger of all of the inventory?
Oh, yes. And he moves over back to like the front, and he starts to pull off one of these stone books, and immediately feels their heft. He says, "Knowledge, it has weight. The worship of God." And he puts the book onto I think he like points over to like a what looks to be, and of course it's the one thing that isn't invented very well. It's just a fucking trolley. It's just a like a regular trolley. And he points over.
It's like a bellboy cart.
Yeah, it's a bellboy cart, and he just and puts it on there, and like it bends a little bit from the stone, and he starts to flip through the pages, and you see a lot of scribble in the front, like a lot of like note taking of what seems almost journal like. And he says, "Here," and he looks and he says, "This is the most recent. If you wish to go back further, those books are transported to the Hall of Gold and kept there, where most of the archives are."
Okay.
You are good.
Neat.
And he looks over to you. He says, "Do you need to find anything?" Alexandria.
I'm just gonna shoot Valfine a side-eye glance and go, got any spell books?
And he says, I think you would struggle finding that here. Temple of Savros, maybe."
I'm good.
He'll shake his head. He says, "It, under new management, it, understand."
We noticed. Yes.
He says, And then he looks kind of like a little curmudgeon about it, and he says, "Something the princes should do. Fix the temple. Should not be that way. but what can you do? He'll say, if you
Fix it, I'd wager.
What do you say?
She just mumbles under her breath. Just fix it.
Fix it that way. And he would point at you, and he says, "The way of God to fix, yes." And he'll say, "If you need anything, I am upstairs in Water Garden. You can find me there. If water come down and start to lift and in this place, you get out." He says, or, and he goes over to the wall. You press this button.
Why?
It will empty water.
What does the button look like?
It looks like a stone slab that you would push in. It probably has a symbol of Gond on it and like a symbol for water next to it.
Okay, as long as it's easily identifiable against the rest of the stone.
There's a bunch of buttons on that wall.
Oh God.
He says, "You don't touch any of these others. You touch this one."
What's wrong with these other ones?
And he says, "Best to leave, or else you would cause trouble."
Which one's the self-destruct button?
And he just says, "Oh, that's... I'm not telling."
So
You don't push buttons.
What have you done?
They'll say,
I
Gond is a god of trust as well as invention.
As fixing?
I trust you. It is a two-way street.
agree. I think we've taken up enough of your time.
Oh, no. Enough time has been taken up. And he says, "I will be upstairs. If you need anything, you come to me. Or if you find another priest down here," and he thinks for a minute, "don't think any down here. So when you are done, you come up to me, or just make sure book get back on shelf, all right?"
I'll do what I can.
He says, "All right." And he steps out and he says, "Good luck in your searching. God's wisdom be with you." And he goes up. He starts going up the steps.
Mm-hmm. Alone in the library.
Alone in the library with the sound of drips. And let's
Get hot and steamy up there in the library.
the
You
sound
mean down there?
Down there.
down there. Yeah, the sound of drips. I'll come back to you guys in just a sec to see how it's going down in the Temple of God.
Now hang on a minute here. What's all the insinuation going on?
Oh, turn your music down. All right. Excuse me. Yeah, and let's get that Rain going back over here. Who is, I think, War, you were the last in line, then I'll go over to Freesia. Rain indoors. There we go. War, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. You are searching for somebody who is selling weaponry here. You will note it's very difficult to find anyone willing to sell anything. People are more willing to give away. Oh, what's up?
He's looking more for like watching somebody make the stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily buying. He's interested in specifically shields, but
Yeah, you can find a young Chultan woman who's working one of the forges up on probably the second floor. She has her very, very long hair tied back and tucked into her pants. It's so long to get it out of the way so it won't burn in the forge that is sort of churning up here. You can see that she is in the midst of working on what looks to be a sword, but it's quite interesting. It hooks at the end and it's barbed, but the barbs don't seem to be made out of steel. They seem to be made out of some other blackened material that you're not completely familiar with. While you watch her, you hear her yell in Chultan. She's extremely angry. She talks extremely fast as she's mad, and she throws the blade onto the ground. When you didn't really see too much flaw to it, but she seems to have spotted something she hates about it and has thrown it into a pile of very similar-looking blades. Ping! As it goes in, and she takes out another huge slab of iron and starts to throw it back into the mix and starts the process over again, of which you've just stepped in on what seemed to be like, oh, she's almost done, and she's just thrown it away and is getting ready to pull out another one. Yeah, you see this individual working the forge right now. You can see some others who are working on this sort of forge level where you can probably see experimental shields and armor, a lot of them looking strange in different fashions. You're not sure what some of them do, or some of them what their original function is, or if any of them could really protect you or not. But most of the other forges seem to be just starting up, but this young woman, her forge seems to have already been lit. Like she probably got here much earlier. You know, it's early morning right now. But yeah, you could just be watching this process if you want. Do you want to interact with the scene in any way, or what does Ward do?
After watching for a bit, you said it was hooked with like barbs?
Yeah, like hooked, and it has like barbs with a blackened metal that you're not familiar with.
He'd probably, when she has like a second of rest while she's waiting for the metal to heat up or something, he'd probably ask, what are the barbs supposed to be for?
She would immediately look up. Sorry, you scared me. She says, and she looks you up and down. And she seems speechless. She just says,
where are your clothes?
and she says, and she's like looking down the line at other people working who probably are also kind of looking in your direction. She's kind of like looking at them like, what are you? Kind of thing. And she's just like, you just spoke to me?
Yes.
Says, you're a turtle.
Yes, I am. Turtle.
A turtle? And she immediately kind of like leans over like very far, probably too far, her workbench. A real turtle? In Chult here? You're a real turtle.
I appear to be.
And she'll just say, I have heard stories. How are you alive?
What do you mean by that?
Didn't the turtles die?
Mm-hmm.
They left Chult with Upta. Shouldn't that be where you are?
I am the only one that I know of. I was not raised there with the rest of them.
And she puts her glove, takes her huge gloves off, and like opens up like the counter, like gets it over, and she's just like, "My name is Anya. It is nice to meet you."
He'll shake her hand.
What is your name?
My name is War.
War? Like the
Yes.
word war? In
Yes.
Chultan and in the common. War. That is fascinating. And she'll say, I'm sorry, did you... Were you here for me? And she seems completely confused and like taken aback by all of this.
I was just watching. I was...
Oh, I'm sorry, it's all a failure. I'm sorry you had to watch that. And she like kicks some of the blades over. She's like, this metal, it doesn't work. It doesn't mix with the material. And she says, I'm sorry. Are you a forgeman?
Not really.
Do you
But
come from
it is-
another temple of Gond? Are you a visitor to the temple?
Yes. I am just watching.
Which temple are you from? Are you from Waterdeep or Neverwinter? Or perhaps Kalimshan? My father will not let me go to the other temples. I've wanted to travel for some... I'm sorry, I'm talking about my personal life.
You're fine. I don't know where I'm originally from. However, I suspect it was an island off the south end of Chult.
And she'll say, but you are a worshipper of Gond. That is why you are here?
I'm here with some friends. I was just walking around.
Oh. And she just says, Taimura brought you to me. She says, she looks at you kind of up and down, and she says, is that a weapon? Are you a warrior?
You can say that.
You can swing that.
Yes.
It's just like, give me a moment, and she just like starts moving blades out of the way, and she hands you a blade. Can you swing this? Swing it at this, and she pushes out an iron anvil. Swing it as hard as you can. You are very big, please.
Okay. He'll do it.
It breaks, and she just says, I knew it. And she looks over, she says, I have an eye for this, I told you, I knew it. It broke, and she says, I have been trying to mix the ash of a volcano with the blade to make it not break. I am convinced that the material will solidify the metal and make it unbreakable. But I have failed over and over again. I put the blades in the pile and they she points down the line of people starting to forge, kind of shaking their head like, oh no, he's talking to Anya. And it's just like, they don't believe me. They say it's good enough, but I can see it. I have my father's eyes. She says, it is obvious the blade broke. You are big enough to swing it, so I know this. And she says, they also mock me for making a blade so big. But I have been looking for a warrior who is big enough to wield such a thing. And she says, but I have yet to find one. She'll come over to you and kind of grasp at the blade, looking at how big you are. Kind of mouth-watering situation of there's somebody big enough to wield the sword I've been trying to build for God. And she's like, are you in port for some time?
I'm not sure how long I'm planning on staying. I need to make another trip out into the jungle.
Oh, are you here for another day, perhaps?
Yeah, I should be.
Would you come back?
Alexandria's sitting there in the background like giant X's with her arms. No.
Would you come back, perhaps? I am going to try another blade now. I have a way to accelerate the process, and it might work this time. If you come back, would you swing my blade again?
Sure.
Thank you. War, that was your name. I will remember. And she'll say, if you want to keep watching, you can, but I didn't actually notice you, and now I won't be able to not notice you, and it is...
I'll move on so I'm not distracting.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But you will come back, right?
I'll come back.
Says, good. She looks down the line. He's going to come back! And she's like, I have to get to work. And she immediately starts bringing out another slab of iron, another ingot, and throwing it into the flames. Get it going. And she puts her gloves back on. War, you continue down the line.
Yeah, I continue walking around.
Yeah, you see much of the same. People sort of inventing. The other people start their forges and start going about it. You don't see anything terribly as unique as hers, but each one has its sort of individual own shape and way of experimenting with how to make weapons and armor and shields and the like. But we will move from your scene back over to Freesia out front playing her tune to the Temple of Gond. And you've probably played longer than permits the gold that you have received, but your time is definitely appreciated, and there is an applause from those workers who are still able probably to hear your music as you pitch it a little bit higher above the drone of machinery going on around this humming, vibrating building. What else are you doing, Freesia? Or do we just still see you here playing this music?
She's mostly using this as an excuse to make sure that this party that she finally found, that has found the person she is looking for before, doesn't leave without her.
Doesn't leave without her. So yeah, you are watching the door. We probably constantly see you kind of looking around for people. You see Brolin sort of getting taken away over to another area, and Valfine and Alexandria obviously you saw taken downstairs. War up to another level as well. You've seen they've spread out among the Temple of Gon. You imagine this is going to be the place where they meet back. Something that you would notice, Frisha, is that there are children running around the Temple of Gon. Children who probably belong or have parents who are working, but they seem to stay in the area of the fountain proper, and even in the rain they seem to be playing around, and then every once in a while you see a concerned parent come up in Chulton, which you don't quite know, but you can imagine, unless you say, do you know? You don't know Chulton, I don't believe.
I do know Chulton.
Oh, you do know Chulton. Yeah, you can hear the children one at a time sort of get pulled away from the fountain proper as it's raining. You're going to get sick. Come inside. I'll take you to the forges. You need to warm up, and they cry and whine because they can't play with the other kids out here. The music that you are playing is definitely appreciated, but you probably have a concerned mother or two. Could you play that inside, perhaps? The children are attracted to the music. We appreciate the song. In fact, I am working just over there, and I appreciate the tune. The break in the hum is nice for my ears, but could you play further in? This contradicts with what you want.
Well, I'm partly here to help with Gon, help Gon draw in more worshippers.
Make a persuasion check.
He's gonna win every single one of them.
Oh, that was a terrible roll.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, she'll say, well, I obviously cannot make you move, and I don't mean to be rude, but if you find that it would be more proper and possibly come into your senses, maybe you will play out of the rain, or at least a little further in.
Well, I wouldn't be in the rain. I'm just by the front door.
Yeah, you are by the front door itself. Your tune echoes out into the I would say out of the front gate area of the stone walls. It would echo out into the courtyard proper to make her complaint valid in one way or another. She's effectively wants you to get out of a place where you are so loud, which is kind of I think it's she's super concerned about the children being far too attracted to the music, and also attracted to the front door area. So she probably wouldn't struggle with it too much, but you would get a side eye from a concerned mother for sure. You would get the mom side eye of, come on, son, let's this way. You will be able to hear the fine music from my workshop. Aw, Mom! but my friends! And they get pulled away. Excellent, and that's where we still leave Frisha watching the door avidly, just making sure that these people don't leave her. I think that's perfect. We move over to Brolin, who has been escorted at this point to a room on the first level of the Temple of Gond, a chamber that seems to be filled with like tailoring supplies and stuff. We probably see plenty of spinning wheels and all kinds of yarn moving about, and we can see sort of a fluff floating through the air of people. They seem to be working on beautiful, like insanely intricate tapestries, and they seem to all be working in this massive circle as one. And you can see there is an empty spot where you can only guess that this person that you are with, whose name is guys, who what's her name?
Oh no.
What did I say her name was?
I can't remember.
I know Anya.
Nala,
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write these names down because I'm fucking making them up as I go.
you're not supposed to ruin the illusion.
I ruined it.
I'm helping.
But yeah, you were led into this chamber by this red dragonborn woman who is completely enamored with Brolin Jr. and is kind of just like hoisting him up and playing with him a little bit, which Brolin Jr. is eating it up. He loves her. She brings you over to what looks to be a grain woman who's still clinging on to some of her youth. She has definitely youthful eyes and a mostly sort of youthful face, but you can see where the laugh lines come from. She stands stands not at a hunch. She stands actually pretty well upright to show that the work in her life has kept her youthful in one way or another, but her hair betrays her age, as it is almost a perfect white. This woman with these emerald green eyes, and she says, Loiret! Loiret! And she says so in Chultan, but the name translates the same over Common or anyway. But you speak Chultan, so it's all in Chultan here. But you can tell that Nala speaks a very broken version of Chultan as this older woman comes up. Yes, Nala. I see you have brought a friend. We need you back at this circle. We are getting to the next skein of the pattern, and we will definitely need your expertise. She says, yes, but look! And she says, oh, my, she says, you have pulled a... Where... this is a creature of Chult. Where did you find this? She says, this stranger, this albino dwarf, I got it from him. She's saying so in broken Chultan, so it's mostly, like, words are skipped over here and there. And she will say, and you are? Looking down to you, Brolin. She'll hold out her hand.
I just want to point out that Brolin kind of has a thing for Nala. He likes tall.
She is tall.
Like 3 times my height. It's awesome.
Lorit goes to shake your hand, but she pulls it back and goes, wait. I know you.
You know me?
You are Brightfang. You are one of the fighters of the arena. I have watched many of your games. It was months ago, a year ago at least. Are you back? You have not been in the arena in some time. You are Brightfang, no? The one who turns into monsters, creatures of Chult.
Is that my name? Is that my?
Brightfang was your fighter
cool.
name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's complicated. Maybe.
You almost qualified for being a gladiator 6 times. You were so close. I was rooting for you. What happened? She seems upset.
I got sidetracked. I got busy. I've been in the jungle.
Are you back to take back your title?
I gotta...
You were this close to becoming a gladiator. You had made it through the ranks of fighter.
Alexandria.
I followed your career. Temple of God was a mistake. I got pulls for all y'all.
Listen, maybe we'll see. But
you're going to fight. I followed your career for some time. You're here to fight, right?
Damn it. Well...
we'll see. Nala looks completely like she's like, I didn't know you were famous. She's like, oh,
yeah,
no.
He looks I'm a big deal. Pretty famous.
Who knew I met a famous gladiator? And then immediately Loret would just go, not gladiator, Nala, not yet. That is a respected rank. You get a statue for that. He was close, but didn't make it.
Okay, all right. Anyway,
ooh, we got a follower. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead.
Listen, I found Brolin Jr. in the jungle of Chult. He was given to me. He was by a fungus man.
And she'll just go, I know of these creatures in Chult, but they there are not many in the city, nor are they sold as pets. It would make sense that the Bright Fang himself, the one who changes into creatures, would harbor such things. So it is not a surprise to me. What brings you to the Temple of God? And to so willingly or so so successfully distract one of my students, and I'll be like, oh, no, Loret, I was distracted myself. I was out in the garden, in the water garden, and I saw him, and the peasant say, enough, you distracted her. What is your need?
Alright, you gotta keep this on the down low. I need a cure. I need you to remove a curse. You're a priest. I think you have that ability. I need to be cured.
Do you have a disease?
I guess you could say it's a disease. It's more of a curse.
A curse. And what are the details of the curse? And she's like pulling up her arms, like getting ready. You have the gold to pay for this.
How much?
She says, to cure curse, it is 300 gold pieces. But if you... And she looks at you immediately and she says, I imagine you have no money. It has been a while since you've been working.
I've been in the jungles on an adventure of a lifetime.
And she says, an adventurer, really? Billet is below you. And she says, do you know how fantastic it was to watch you? I have been watching you for at least most of your career. Really, you should get back into the arena game. I don't think you are the adventuring type.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
And she
First,
says,
I need this taken care of.
She says, to cure curse, it is 300 gold pieces. You will have to pay up front, or we will have to make some sort of deal.
Alexandria is gonna like Kool-Aid man through the door, like pull him out by the ear.
Of which I have a
Oh,
great
no.
deal idea in mind. If Brightfang is cursed and needs a cure, perhaps his number one fan can do something about it for a price.
What's their price?
She says,
Is it an autograph? Because that he can do that.
she says, one, you are going to sign something for me.
I mean, sure. That's great. I can do that. I can sign stuff.
I can sign stuff.
Two, how long are you back in port?
I mean, that's tentative.
Are you fighting?
If it means you'll cure me, I'll do it.
Here's the deal, Brolin. Or, well, I feel a little awkward calling you that. Brightfang. And she'll say, she'll just say, here's the deal. She kind of geeked out for like a second, and then like composure. She's like, I will bet a certain amount of money on your fight. If you are going into the arena, what event are you going to participate in?
Well, just between the two of us, whispers. At first, I gotta qualify with the undead. You know,
You are taking on the undead
gauntlet.
challenge. Perfect.
Yeah.
And she'll say, I will bet a certain amount of gold on that challenge. Perhaps it is the exact amount of gold that you would owe me for such a thing. If you win, you will owe me nothing. If you lose, I expect my payment in full. Double.
Yeah. Oh.
In full, double, double full.
Double full.
Okay. As a sign of good faith, I'll let you keep T.I.'s Nala being affectionate to Brolin. I'll let her hang on to Brolin Jr. for a little bit.
She'll look, oh, I do not want that creature. And immediately now it's like, oh, please. She says, Lord, I swear, I won't leave for like a week. I'll take care of everything. It'll be fine. I promise. He'll stay in my apartment.
You gotta.
And she's like, no, you can't. No, it's not. And she's like, I promise I won't wander off anymore. And I'll finish the last game and I'll make sure to do double work. I won't sleep. And she'll just say, you need to sleep to be able to work for God. And there's like an argument like back and forth here in Charlton. Make a persuasion check with advantage, Brolin.
Yeah. Oh no, that's perception. That's not like, oh, that's pretty high.
Make a persuasion check with advantage. Okay, 18. Nala is eventually able to break her down to the point where she's like, fine, you can keep it. But our deal stands. You will fight in the arena this week. A promise that you are making to me in front of Gond, and she points over to a gear symbol on the wall. In front of Gond, I will bet a certain amount of money, being the price that you owe me. If I win, you owe me nothing, or if you win, rather, you will owe me nothing. But if you lose, you will owe me all the money that I have lost, plus what I would have won.
All right, now shake my hand, and we'll sign the agreement. We'll agree by handshake.
And she'll say, first you will tell me what your curse is.
You gotta shake my hand first.
First you will tell me what your curse is.
You gotta shake. It's a deal. Listen, you can't go back. Just shake my hand.
She squints.
It's.
What have you gotten
cursed.
yourself into, Brightfang?
Listen, the curse will. The remove curse spell. It will. Everything will be good. You just gotta shake my hand.
She looks concerned for a moment. You're not talking about the death curse, are you?
No, it's you gotta die. You gotta die to be affected by that curse.
She breathes a sigh of relief. Just tell me what your curse is. It cannot be that bad.
It's pretty bad.
She thinks for a moment. Are you a lycanthrope? And her eyes widen.
That's a dirty word. It's a bad word.
Kool-Aid man.
And she says it pretty loud to the point where all of the skeins stop moving and everybody turns over, and she immediately grabs your shoulder and starts to pull you over, seeing her mistake in that she spoke that far too loud, and she pulls you into another room, which Nala tries to follow, and a door poof, slams in front of her face, and she pulls her sleeves up further. You didn't think they could get much further up, but they do. They go all the way up.
All the way.
All right, listen. It's an explanation. I thought like
she puts a hand on your mouth and she says, "Shut up. We have to get rid of this now." And she says, "Eat these." And she pulls out some berries and shoves them into your mouth. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no!
With disadvantage.
And we come full circle.
Oh, no.
You immediately get knocked out. Alex, your camera's super blurry. You might want to put your hand in front of it.
That's fantastic. What's her name? I'm gonna
focus
add
it.
these two. I'm gonna add these two characters to my.
It is. This is Nala. Nala is the Red Dragonborn, and the teacher, this priest of Gond, is Lorette.
Lorette. Okay.
Lorette.
Lorette and Nala. Okay.
So as you black out, let me reconnect my cam. Here. Oh my god. All right, and yeah, we'll bring back the drip as it goes to darkness, and it will fade back into a very dark, damp area that is still well lit, but it is pretty dull as we make our way into. It's like, let me see what this music sounds like. Yeah, that's good. I like that. All right.
This isn't sexy time music.
It's not.
Can you feel?
Well, it depends on what you're into, I guess.
You are deep beneath the earth. Probably about 3 flights down.
I like being deep in the earth.
How's it going down here, guys? What's happening? You are the only 2 down here. Everything you do, every step you take, echoes throughout the back of this chamber.
There's so much implication here.
Every sound you make, you can even probably hear the other person breathing across. If you were at different aisles within the chamber. The chamber, like I said, is about 100 feet long, about 50 feet wide. It's a long chamber, and there doesn't seem to be any other exits.
So if we moan loudly, we got it. Yeah, all right.
What steamy literature am I reading that she can hear me 3 aisles away?
Oh, man,
breathing?
you picked up this really, really steamy book about the sewers of Chult and how the system was built years ago by with the help of Omnian architecture and mixed through, and it talks about the saucy math that went into plugging every single aqueduct to make the city work as one perfect sort of plumbing system.
Long division.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's diagrams.
Oh no.
Nothing. Oh man, nothing casts my spell like pie charts.
A lot of the literature next to it seems to be marking the different days. Some of them diaries of like the process. Some of them theory on what could have worked better or what the plan was initially or how different days went on. Or this day there was a terrible collapse. We lost 3 men, but we were able to recover and come back and finally finish that arch. We were off only 15 degrees. That 15 degrees cost these men their lives. They work now with Gond in his grand temples, and it just like goes on.
Is it a little damp in here, or is it just you?
Valfine.
Actually, I can't be damp. I have prestidigitation.
Just constantly press. These pages are quite damp, but they are thick, and they aren't exactly made of any kind of like vellum or anything. The pages themselves seem to be thick leather that in a lot of ways probably has absorbed some of the moisture in places, but seems to hold a little better in this area that they've been held.
How thick are they?
The leather is at least a couple centimeters thick.
Oh Christ! The preservation.
They're hand stitched into the stone binding.
Probably by a
Iron
scrivener.
thread.
A scrivener that cared about his work.
Bounce,
I can
bow, bow.
see the delicate penmanship.
Down in the libraries of Gone, where the stone drips down. All right, Valfine, what's happening? What this is your search, my friend. What are you looking for?
If I survey the ledger that was left with inventory, can I read the list?
Yeah, you absolutely can. You can go down the list. It's quite large, but seems to hold a good amount of the books that are in this library.
Okay. If I scan, he mentioned that there were old inventions, and then further back there were artifacts. Can I find that section in this book?
Yes. I think you can with some devoted
Can I
time.
call on my background
You
to ask where I may find this information
yes.
in the library that I am standing in?
Yes. You can. I think we will use your background feature to say that you don't have to make any kind of roll to find a book in that category. You easily make your way back to a section under the word O. Or under the letter O. Yeah, you start making your way back here, and the reason you're in here is because I think you're in, like, you go to I and you start peering through some of the pages on inventions. A lot of them are probably you're gonna get to O. A lot of these are probably books that tell of different inventions that have happened throughout the port Nyanzaru. Some of other temples of Gond that stretch across the Sword Coast and beyond, perhaps to other places less known. Different inventions for doing all kinds of things. Some of them failed, some of them successful, some of them interesting. But I don't know. I don't know which ones you choose to pour into or not. Do you want to, like, secret message to me, or do you want to say out loud for the party what exactly, like, the pinpoint direction of what you're searching for? If you give me an exact, like, category. We have a category. You're in inventions. There's plenty to work here. What's the next step to narrowing it down?
Primordial artifacts?
Primordial artifacts. All right. Yeah. I think you start to move into that section, going down into P, going into anywhere where primordial has ever met with invention of any kind. There is talk of forges, probably a history of forges lit by primordial fires that can melt or bend or shape any steel. Probably going into other elements and how they've been used in the past to sort of tamper with and change inventions and allow you to mold materials to create, I would say, more extravagant inventions. into the primordial artifacts themselves, you find difficulty in the invention-esque section, narrowing it down to the actual artifacts themselves. It's more a lot of theory being thrown down of what would happen if we had these things, what arcane people of arcane knowledge in the Temple of Gon think could be possible with these things. There is no. Then you start probably dipping into, is there any history of anyone ever being able to harness this power? Is it only theory, or has anyone ever been able to? And you're unable to find anything, and this is the part where I do want a check from you. I would like you to make an investigation check for me.
You betcha.
Alexandria, you could see Valfine just losing herself in this library. What are you doing, Alexandria? You could see her completely distracted. You can hear the chains of books coming off shelves and slamming down onto one of the dollies. And she's going through one after another, and you can hear the books boom, slam shortly after they're open quite quickly. You can hear Valfine's breath, so you might hear sighs, I imagine, of just not here, whispers. Anything she says under her breath is not hidden in this place.
I mean, mostly just watching.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, or give you an opportunity to step in if you wanted to. But if you were just watching, then we see Alexandria looking on at Valfine as she starts to go into a work that she seems as skilled in as she is in hiding. As good as she is at hiding in the battlefield and moving stealthily along it, she is twice as good at this. And I don't know if this is a side of her you've seen or known about. She is moving with an accuracy and reading at a speed and feeling natural in this place that it seems like this is second nature to her. Valfine, your investigation check will reveal that though nobody is ever mentioned in the history of the port or in other temples of Gond as ever being able to harness such things, there is one mention. It is said, and this is still unconfirmed, it is said that the Benray of Mesro could wield Ubtao's primordial power to forge weapons and other such things to use for themselves and for their most trusted advisors and generals and things of the such. Some weapons and items are rumored to be able to have the power of the elements themselves. There's talk of blades that can light in a flame so hot that it can cut through pure steel in a single swipe. There is talk of arrows that can fire true and cause what seems to be a wind behind them, that with where its path goes, it can blow out of the way any strong soldier standing tall. Each of the elements is sort of represented here one way or another, but it's quoted more in a tale, in a story that is quoted in this sort of section. And is mentioned that is possible in Mesro and in one other place. The rumored lost city of Omu has also said to somehow be able to have a forge master who was able to harness this power, but there is very little detail beyond that. What do you do from here?
Looking through this final book, she's going to linger on it for quite some time. After she gets to the bottom of the final page she reads, she's going to pull out a journal. She's going to start scribbling some things, some notes. She's going to start copying some of the data over. Not one for one. It's going to be mostly in it's going to be in something you can't really understand.
Okay.
I don't think.
And that's where I'm going to come in.
All right, we see Alexandria step into the aisle.
So she's going to kind of softly meander her way up the aisle, reading a book, facing the aisle, but taking a sidestep closer and closer every few seconds, trying to remain coy and not disturb Valfine's efforts until she's pretty much shoulder to shoulder. And she's gonna lean over and go, "So, did you find what you were looking for?"
She's gonna snap the book closed immediately as you come over.
What's the title?
It's written in Chultan on the front of the book. Do you read?
That's not a problem for me. I've been in this library. I've been casting comprehend language.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, the title of the book is
Valfine's Secret Diaries.
The Primordial.
Ultimate Plan.
It's called the
She's a well-published author. Yes, she's got books all over the temples. Yeah.
It's called The Primordial Weave: Theory and Craft.
So, is it primordial weave as in, like, you're looking at some new hairstyles, or...
You don't know. You might have to open that book.
No, that's what she's asking her.
Oh.
I'm not looking to change my hairstyle. I'm fine with it the way it is.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you would look fantastic with a weave, but... That aside...
I disagree, but continue.
Well, I mean, we'll never know until you try. But... What is this about?
She's gonna pause for a moment, and she's gonna bind that leather journal she was writing in, and she's gonna stick it into her cloak. And she's gonna look back at you. I have some things that I wasn't able to leave behind before I traveled here. And I'm simply looking for information.
Is this, so... things you had to leave behind? Things that are back, she winks, where you came from? Things left back with another wink there that might still bother you? She bunny ears.
She's completely stone-faced when she speaks to you about this. And she says, I carry it with me every day. Not by choice.
Well, if it's ever too heavy a burden, you could always put it on Tensor's floating disk.
I've already tried to solve this problem through magical means, and I haven't found anything that works.
And her joking tone kind of fades. She gives you a serious look. And this elemental weave is your next step?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been grasping at information for about 2 to 3 years. I've dug to what feels like the darkest depths of every library I've come across, and there is barely any information. I can't find any information on this thing that has changed my life against my will. It's right here. I still know nothing about it.
By right here, do you mean in this library, in this book?
Without speaking, she's going to pull her cloak aside, and she's going to undo the side of her sash and lift the back of her tunic, where you've seen her place her hand several times, wincing in pain. And as she lifts it, the skin looks messed up. Not really diseased. You're not sure what it is. It occasionally glows blue. It will pulse with energy. It all converges on a single point. And there's a hole in the left-hand side of her lower back. And the lines seem to spiderweb out from that point. And
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to ask, when you say a hole, is it like, there's just a chunk of flesh missing that is healed, or is it like...
It's like a dark spot. It's like the body has tried to heal, or magic has been cast on it to try to close the wound, and hasn't changed anything really.
Oh gosh.
Make a perception check, Alexandria.
Not my strongest.
It's all good. Looking at the scar, it is as Josh described it. It is very gruesome, but seems to have been attempted to heal over multiple times, but the spider web persists. You do see something quite small at the center of her back where the wound seems to originate. You see, and you're not quite sure if it's just the scar, but it seems uniform. A symbol. I'm going to write it. I'm going to draw it in light blue on blue. I know it's the worst. It looks like that.
Where's that?
Oh. In the harbor ward.
It's like in scar tissue. Do you
Gotta
see?
zoom in and... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna Arcana check that.
Go for it. Give me the
Now
Arcana.
This is what we play for!
Oh!
Oh!
Oh shit!
Damn.
That is a money die right there. Money die. Hot shit.
That is the elemental symbol for water. You know that this particular symbol isn't attributed to any made by man. It is ancient. You know that this symbol, and I don't know what book you read or what you got into. This is a symbol that is held only for some of the most, to represent rather, some of the most powerful realms in existence. It has everything to do with not from here. It is not of this realm.
I'm imagining she's completely like absorbed by it, even going so far as to almost touch it.
You know that people worship this symbol, and they've gone mad from it. There are evil cults that worship these and others of its kind.
Yeah, her breath will drop for a little, and she'll say, "Oh, you're not gonna find... No, not in the library. Not for this." Oh, wow. This is extra planar. Only the most secretive of libraries will have anything on stuff like this. I can see why you're talking about this elemental weave, but you're dealing with something that's not the material plane.
You've seen this before?
Oh, I've had dreams about stuff like this before. No, this is other planes, dark cults. Very, very powerful. Where did you get this?
All of the color is going to leave her face as you finish your sentence. She's a hard time saying this at all. I was... Something happened. It's a job gone wrong. I was betrayed. I was trying to escape, and I was pierced by something. And the last thing I remember is waking up along the coast in the sand with nothing but pain in my back. I don't know.
She's starting to mumble under her breath. She's like, Seax? No. Dragons, maybe. Bronze dragons? Were you stealing from a bronze dragon?
No, I already read books on dragons. There's nothing. I've read books on everything. I've spent years reading books.
Oh. Books will be where you'll find information on this, but this isn't... You're not going to find that in any library you can just walk into.
As you're speaking, she's going to redo like all of her clothing. She is trying to hide it. She's ashamed of it. It's disgusting, and it has followed her for years.
Thank you for showing me this. I think I can help you, but I don't have that ability right now.
You're the only one I think will understand. Ever since you transformed, I've read about that. And I know that you'll understand being afflicted with something you have no control over.
Well, if the gods have anything to say about it, I do have control over it, which is why I'm damned. But... we'll fix this. There's hope for me. There's hope for you. She'll actually help you with the, getting everything tucked up in order.
In the midst of tucking things up, Valfine, you have a passive perception of 18, right?
Hell yeah, I do.
That is quite unique. There are very few individuals in Chult, in Port Nyanzaru, that have such a high perception check. You have honed that over a very long time. You catch something in that book that I don't know how you will react to. You see some scribble on the as you're in the midst of closing that book, those sections that you were going to. you see some scribble in the side margins that says, "In thieves can't." And it's very small, but you catch it because the leaf that it's on is tucked in a way that is natural to thieves. And you stop and see it sort of like dog-eared in a way, and you push it over and you see there's some scribble there written in thieves can't that says, "If you're finding this, you are close." That's all it says. And there is a single letter written under it. An L. Or an I believe.
Capital or lowercase?
Capital. And it's very fancy. Valfie, make a history check for me. Alright. You feel like you've seen the penmanship before. You just can't put your finger on it.
Is there a way I would be able to find out who this belongs to? Or where? Would I know where?
Not in this moment. Your mind is sort of jarred. It just seems like some scribble on the edge of the leather. You could cut it out. It says, if you are reading this, you are getting closer. That's all it says. It doesn't seem to be addressed to anyone.
Instead of damaging the books that belong to someone else, she's going to leave it open for a second, pull out the journal again. I mean, there's no hiding it from Valoria any further, obviously. And she's going to
how old is that journal?
One for one. It looks pretty worn. Opening it, it's leather bound, but as she opens it, it's like a flap of leather now. It was tanned, and at one time it looked rigid enough to hold pages, but now it's been not ripped to shreds, but it is very worn.
Make an investigation check.
Me?
Yeah, still coming after you.
Coming after.
God damn it. Hand me that natural 20, Kyle.
You do have inspiration. Everybody
No,
does.
It's mine.
Everybody has one inspiration starting off. It's up to you if you want to reroll it.
I have inspiration.
Everybody should have one coming into the session. Don't we do that in this game?
We do now.
We do now.
I'm going to re-roll an investigation check.
Everybody should
Using
have
my-
one.
Using my inspiration.
Yeah.
Everyone gets one.
Showing up. I'll give you inspiration. If I don't do that in this game, I need to start doing it.
Okay, one sec, I'll re-roll.
It's session inspiration.
Not meant to know.
You're too
All right,
flustered.
the original roll.
You're too flustered in the moment. You start pouring through this other book, trying to find any information that you can, and I think you're bombarded with a lot all at once. And you're kind of brought to sort of a dead end in your head.
She's going to stop writing, stop reading, and take her hands off the book. And it just, her hands are shaking, and she's concentrating so hard to get them to stop. And she kind of winces in pain.
So Alexandria is going to reach over and gently touch her hand and go, if I've learned anything, it's that fervor only gets you so far. How about we remember where this book is, and you've got your notes. We have probably a half a month because Brolin insists on doing everything. We can come back. Or take downtime to research the lore.
Yeah, you can. Do downtime.
I feel like I'm so close.
Closer than you've ever. That's the feeling that I'm going to give you right now. You feel like this is something.
Now listen, see, you hear that voice in your head? It's fucking with you. All right? You're gonna be fine.
So many
We'll
libraries. So
we'll
many
get
tombs.
even closer
So
tomorrow.
many tomes. Never has there been anything in them that seems like it was talking to you.
If I stop now, I might not make it. I don't know.
Alexandria, make a persuasion check with advantage. Valfine set the DC.